Hello again, everybody. Steve Politi from the Star Ledger with Tom Luicci, Brendan Prunty. I've got one thing to say. Where the hell are my beefsteak tomatoes? Come on.
They're coming. It's games like these, nights like these that make me wish I'd gone to a school that doesn't have football like Brendan. St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph's.
Or North Carolina. Oh, never mind, North Carolina. They do have football now.
Apparently,
So,
yeah.
they just keep playing Rutgers. They'll have plenty of football.
I mean, what, to see it once against Fresno State, you can write it off as a bad game. To see it twice, I mean, it's just inexcusable. And the way they performed tonight, that's the only word for it. It's inexcusable.
This team has some major issues. I don't think there's any question. And to be honest with you, I think it starts with the guy with the headsets. I mean, at times this year, and I said it in the paper, it looked like fundamentals were an accident. It really did. It didn't look like a well-coached team, and that's a stinging indictment. It didn't look like a well-prepared team. It looks like a team that just doesn't have any identity. It does look like a team that doesn't have good leadership. It looks like a team that doesn't have good athletes.
It's like a bad football team. And Brendan, you wrote about the defense tonight. When you think about it, the Fresno State game, they made the three big plays that cost the game.
Right.
Same thing tonight.
They just got their doors blown off. And the fact that they let Brandon Tate run over the field, did they pay attention to any game footage? Did they read anything? I mean, we talked about him all week. We asked questions of the players, coaches, everything like that. The one playmaker they had, and he just lit him up. Absolutely lit him up, did exactly what we thought he was going to do, which is run over the field.
And the one thing that Shiano said tonight after this one was that he didn't want people to give up on this team. It's hard not to because you've seen so little to give you reason for optimism.
I know about 39,000 people that did around the third quarter. So.
No, you know why you can give up? Because they have a fifth-year quarterback who should be doing better than this. He shouldn't have 5 interceptions through the first 2 games with 1 touchdown pass. He shouldn't have 41 for his career. He shouldn't be making the passes and the decisions that he's making. I mean, I'm not putting this all on Mike Teal. Don't get me wrong. I think Mike Teal is a stand-up guy, and I think he's very knowledgeable about the offense. They need to get an athlete at quarterback. Can I say this any clearer? They need to get an athlete at quarterback. They need a guy like T.J. Yates who can run out of trouble. They need a guy like T.J. Yates who can throw on the run. And remember this, guys. T.J. Yates is a mediocre college quarterback. And he looks like Michael Vick out there. You need a quarterback who's an athlete in this day and age to play the position. Otherwise, you can't win a college football.
Mediocre quarterback puts up 44 points.
Yeah, and I don't know what the options are. I mean, you go to Jabu Lovelace. He completed 1 pass to the other team tonight. I don't know what they can do. I mean, where do they?
Well, in the short term, they can't do anything, but they need to find an athlete to play quarterback. They can't have a guy who's essentially a statue. I don't care if he knows the playbook better than John McNulty, the offensive playbook. It doesn't matter if he can't move around because he's obviously not getting the protection that he did the past 2 years. That's obvious. So once you get Mike Teal to move, the word is out. He's not effective.
And the one thing I think they need to do is, if they clearly are not going to be able to do anything with him, they need to get some help around it. They need to get that running game going. Maybe it's looking towards Jordan Brooks. He looked better out there than the other 2 guys. Mason Robinson.
Mason was okay. He was okay.
Okay,
you're right. I mean,
they need to get something.
Got some garbage time yardage.
Right.
There's no question. I mean, Mason does it in spots, but not having Cordell Young tonight didn't help them. But again, it comes down to they're not getting the play at the quarterback. I don't think they're getting the play in the offensive line either.
Right. And I'm assuming they'll have the athletes to beat a team like Navy, certainly beat a team like Morgan State 2-2. And then October comes rolling around. I mean, do you see a scenario where this team gets out of October with a win?
No, I don't. I mean, if you watch the first 2 tapes of this secondary, all of a sudden Navy's going to go from being a wishbone team to being BYU. They're going to want to throw the ball 60 times against this secondary. I mean, Courtney Green's now getting turned around, spun around like a top. Jason McCourty all of a sudden had no chance against Tate. I'm shocked, I'm stunned that this secondary is this bad.
And that one you can't pin on the head coach. That one goes back to the defensive coordinator, which is, of course, the same person. And we started with coaching, we might as well end with coaching. This is when I think we find out what Shiano is really about. If he's built this program to what it is now, can he make it a consistent winner? Can he coach it? Can he take it to the next level? The early returns are not good.
Well, for $2 million a year, he better be able to. And for $2 million a year, he better be able to win a game in October because that's when seasons are decided, especially since you start the Big East schedule then. So we'll see.
Well, I think we really had a nice positive recap of tonight's game. I think we probably should end there. Again, Steve Politi, Brendan Prunty, Tom Luicci from Rutgers Stadium signing off. Thanks for watching.
We will see you after a victory one of these days.
But I'm not sure when, but eventually.